Hello, and welcome to the Person-Centered Coach, where we explore how person-centered practices transform human services from the inside out. Hi, I'm Franciria Moore Maxwell, the founder and managing director of Sankofa for Leadership, and I'm here to offer some quick tools, tips, and hacks from my 18 years of experience in the human services field to amplify your impact. In each episode, we will explore how person-centered practices can transform the way that we support our clients, the community we serve, and even our colleagues. But first, let me introduce Sankofa for Leadership. We are here to help you reinvent the wheel. Poverty reduction initiatives are nothing new, and they require bold, innovative approaches that honor the lived experiences of families and individuals experiencing poverty with honesty, curiosity, and a commitment to equitable solutions. That's why we work with organizations nationwide to help them fully embrace person-centered methods that reimagine service delivery by placing the individual served at the heart of every initiative. Before we jump in, if you hear something you like or if you have questions, please drop your questions in the comment section below and we'll happily reply to them there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your network to help us spread this person-centered approach far and wide. Now, let's get started. Today, let's discuss something that's at the core of effective coaching. How the language we use is often reflective of the beliefs we hold about ourselves, the world, and what's possible. And I'm not just talking about your clients, but I'm also talking about us as coaches too. Let's dive in with this simple truth. The language your client uses is often dictated by their inner critic, and it is an indication of what they may or may not believe about themselves. The inner critic is that voice in our heads that tells us, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or that's just the way things are. We've all heard it, we've all experienced it, and let's be real, we've all said these things to ourselves at some point. The voice is rooted in limiting beliefs, which can stop us from achieving what we really want. I'd like to offer 3 tips that will help your client reframe their limited beliefs and adopt more empowering language as they work to achieve their goals. Number 1, identifying limiting beliefs starts with listening. When you're having a coaching conversation, pay close attention to the language that your client is using. Phrases like money doesn't grow on trees or I'm not good with money show up all the time, and they are clues into what's going on beneath the surface. Let's say a client comes in with a goal of financial security. They're telling you that they want to save more money, but then they say things like, I'll never get ahead, I'm just bad with money. Notice how those words don't match the result that they want. This is where you come in as a coach. As a person-centered coach, one of the best things you can do is to raise their awareness. This simply means bringing something that someone is doing or saying to their attention. Oftentimes, we're moving through life and we're not really aware of how what we're saying and what we desire don't match. You might say something like, I hear that you want financial security, but you're also saying that you're not good with money. Can we explore that a bit more? This type of powerful question is a great way to open the door for deeper reflection on their part and allows you to help them break down those limiting beliefs. Okay, well, let's talk about number 2. Now, let's talk about this inner critic a little bit more. It's sneaky. I want to point that out for everybody. Your inner critic is sneaky, and it shows up in the ways that we talk about ourselves, in the way that we interpret what's going on in the world around us. And it also shows up specifically when we decide to make a change or to do something different, to push outside of that zone of comfort. Maybe you would hear an inner critic say something like, I'll never be able to save money. That's just the way that I am. Anybody ever heard that? That's just the way that I am. I'm just like that. People like me don't get rich. People like me don't get rich. People like me don't get jobs like that. Okay. People like me don't live in communities like that. These are classic limiting beliefs that often are passed down through family, culture, and past experiences. And so it's not always about identifying that thing and having them just talk differently. It's also about identifying that thing and understanding the root causes of it. Is it something that was passed down through my culture? Is it something that is a long-held family belief? Is this something based on a past experience, maybe 1 or 2 experiences that now I've applied to the whole? The idea here is that we have to identify, unlearn that thing and be willing to learn something new or relearn it in a new way. Here's the thing. Beliefs like this feel true because they have been repeated for so long. They show up in language, they drive behavior, and they influence outcomes. When clients have beliefs like this, they might self-sabotage without even realizing it. Have you ever been working with someone and you come up with a beautiful plan? I mean, an immaculate plan. And when they come back to work with you and come back to check in with you, nothing has gone according to plan. And as far as you can tell, these were all unforced errors. Okay. That's self-sabotage. Okay. Here's how we start to break that cycle. Challenge those thoughts with truth. Okay. A key example with money is the classic phrase, come on, say it with me. Money doesn't grow where?
On trees.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Okay. I know I've heard that several times. It sounds like Amber and Amber have heard that many times. A client might believe that no matter how hard they try, financial security will always be out of reach. You can help them reframe this by introducing new language like money may not grow on trees, but I can plant seeds of financial habits that will grow over time. Can I get a witness? Okay. Just helping them reframe that language puts them in a seat of empowerment. Okay. See what happened there? It's a shift in the focus from impossibility to potential, which is what we want to achieve in coaching. We're turning the inner critic down and turning up the voice that says, I can. This is where we as coaches need to walk the walk. Our clients are paying attention to our language as well. If we want to help them use empowering language, we need to model it ourselves, because that's the tip in itself. So the general tip is like, ask questions. Like that's, when someone says something, don't just assume, tell them to talk about it more, not just for you, but for themselves so that they can hear it out loud, so that they can hear what they're saying and process that. Like it's the perfect pair to the idea of reflective listening. Reflective listening isn't just active listening. It takes active listening a step further by saying, like, I'm going to repeat back to you what you said. I'm going to hold a mirror so that you can check to see, is that what I believe? Is that how I feel? Is that what I want to experience, in life? And so the idea of reflecting back what someone is saying to them and then giving them space to process that is really the way that we identify what those limiting beliefs are and replace that disempowering language with empowering language. So we're moving through 3 different levels. The first level is the unconscious, because those limiting beliefs often speak out of our unconscious. It just slips out. It just comes out. This is the way that we think and feel. Then it seeps into our behaviors and actions. How you behave is always an indicator of what you actually believe, what you'll stick to. And so asking those questions is really the that's the secret sauce. It's like, how good are the questions that you're asking? You don't have to have some kind of research study prepared or a thesis and a framework and all those things. You can create the environment that makes change possible by asking meaningful, curious, powerful questions. As a coach who's talking about using empowering language, you need to also be aware of the language that you're using when you're in sessions. Like, you can't say like, oh, I'm terrible at such and such. Whatever. You should be modeling using that empowering language. We need to walk the walk and we need to talk the talk. Our clients pay attention to our language too. If we want to help them use empowering language, we need to model using it ourselves. This isn't just something that you can turn on in front of clients. This is a habit that you have to develop for reframing negativity with strengths-based, positive self-belief language. Make a practice of this with your colleagues and even in your personal life. Affirm yourself frequently and be willing to present yourself with evidence of your power. Here's a pro tip. If you wouldn't say it to someone else, don't say it to yourself. We are often nicer, kinder, and more patient with others than we are with ourselves. So start to think of yourself in caring and affirmative ways, and you'll be able to do this more effectively for clients when their inner critic shows up during a session. So don't be afraid to share some of the limiting beliefs that you've had that have impacted your life and decisions. And also share the new beliefs and language that you've started to use to help you make that shift. Remind the client that by being cognizant of their self-beliefs and aware of the language they use regarding themselves will help them shift the focus from being stuck to being in progress. And progress is what we want to celebrate. Silencing the inner critic doesn't happen overnight, and it starts with awareness. Once your client can identify their critic's voice, I can't do this, I'll never get ahead, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, you can help them reframe those thoughts with empowering truths. Here's a simple technique to share with clients. Ask them to think of one limiting belief that they have. Maybe it's about money or something else, and ask themselves, is this 100% true? More often than not, the answer is no. From there, help them find evidence to the contrary. Maybe they've managed their finances well in the past or have the potential to do so with the right support. The goal is for them to raise their awareness to the point where they catch those disempowering thoughts on their own and replace them with empowering ones. So let's give it our pretty bow. To sum it up, remember these 3 takeaways. 1, listen for limiting beliefs in your client's language. Their words are windows into their unconscious beliefs, so pay attention. 2, challenge and reframe the inner critic. Help your client replace disempowering language with words that reflect their potential and the progress that they want to make. And 3, model empowering language. The more you use it, the more your clients will mirror it. Consistency is key to setting the right tone for your coaching space. By helping your clients shift their language, you're doing more than just improving conversations. You're creating space for real transformation. Because once their language changes, their beliefs change. And when their beliefs change, so do their results. And now you're coaching for change. Well, that's it for this episode. If you have any questions about our training program, or if you would like to sign up for our newsletter or get more resources, visit us at sankofaleadership.com. If you heard something you like, or if you have a question, please drop your questions and comments below, and we'll happily reply there, or consider sharing this video with your network to help us spread this person-centered approach far and wide. Join us next week as we continue to explore ways to improve our service delivery method and strategies for becoming more person-centered through care, coaching, leadership, and community collaboration. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.